Hey guys, Chef Tom here. Today we're gonna be taking a trip to my local Walmart. I oftentimes find myself coming here as it's only 8 minutes away from my house. My intention with this video is to go over my opinions and recommendations on certain things that you can buy at Walmart. This will be a two-part video as I don't want to subject you to a 25-minute video. The first part will detail kitchen utensils, cutting boards, knives, and miscellaneous cooking vessels. And the second part will talk about pots and pans and kitchen appliances. Well, without further ado, let's begin. These strainers here, I really like these. This is something I use at my house quite often, and I think the last one I had I got here, but it broke, so I need to pick up a new one of these. They're okay if you don't know how to slice fruit. I prefer to cut my own fruit. Peelers, I usually buy my peelers at Walmart. Thermometers, can't go wrong with these. KitchenAid brand in general is pretty solid for cheap end type items. Garlic press, I wouldn't use a garlic press. Chop garlic by hand. Meat tenderizer, pretty good to have. These are some of the best wine bottle openers you can get, of this style at least. Wire strainers are all right, they're not my preference. I prefer like kind of a finer mesh square style. These are good for round pots though. I've never seen a masher like this before. Interesting. Kitchen shears, always need this. This would be a good one to buy. Tongs, like your second hand. If you're gonna buy spatulas, I definitely recommend getting the heat resistant ones. Otherwise, you're gonna have melted plastic in your food. Silpats, they're all right. I don't usually use silpats. I know a lot of people that do. You can peel things easily off of it, like cookies or other fine baking items. Funnels are great for putting things in bottles. These wire baskets down here are pretty good for like pastas, or if you're doing mashed potatoes, you need to drain the potatoes. Same with these plastic ones. Plastic ones do the same trick, but this one will get you a little better. Rolling pins, this looks all right. Sometimes I'll just use a can if I need one. I do have a rolling pin in my house. The handles are broken off of it. Mortar and pestles, pretty cool. I have a mortar and pestle in my house. It's made out of marble. Different materials are for different purposes. This Time and Table brand, I've never seen that before. It looks kind of like a whimsical, rustic look to it. More of a feminine look to it, perhaps. But a lot of it's silicone. Looks like it's a cheaper brand, more medium, low cheap. This is the style potato masher I'm more familiar with. These scoops are good right here. The cheaper you get, the easier they are to break. They have this little mechanism on side that'll help you release the food. Has this like kind of rainbow reflective quality to it. Pizza wheel, timeless. Microplanes, I definitely recommend having a microplane in your house, and they're not that expensive either. This for zesting like citrus. Here's another strainer. These are pretty good. This is actually cheaper than the one down there, and I would actually probably buy this one over that one. It's slightly bigger and cheaper. They're gonna probably fall apart if you get anything below like 20 bucks anyway. They'll fall apart eventually. Where the mesh meets this metal rim, it'll separate, and if that happens to you, be very careful because that gets really sharp. These wooden bamboo spoons are pretty cool. A lot of classic chefs they swear by only using wooden kitchen utensils. This peeler, I mean, this is probably the cheapest peeler here. It works in a pinch. I prefer the long style of peeler opposed to this style of peeler, but that's just a personal preference really. I find that these will be faster, like with potatoes. Yeah, it just depends on what you're peeling and what your preference is. The way you hold the peeler also matters. Sifters are really cool. If you need to sift something, citrus, juicer, Bagetti, just twist. You make some zucchini noodles with that. I would say be careful. These things can be really sharp. It looks pretty cheap. I probably would not pick that up. I would get a little bit more expensive one. Egg slicers are nice. I use those often in the kitchen, and you don't want to spend, like $2.97 is a great price for that. You don't need to spend a lot on a egg slicer. Okay, so now we're at the really cheap end, the mainstay brand, it looks like. I mean, you got turkey baster, you got this mallet, can openers. I prefer to use a hand style can opener, even in a professional kitchen, just because the health inspector always gets you on the table can openers. I mean, this is all right in a pinch. These turners look like they might melt, even though it says they're heat resistant. Then you have this Tasty brand here. Here's heard of the Tasty brand, but they look like it's pretty comparable in price to the mainstays. Looks a little bit more like colorful, summer, kidsy type color scheme going on here. Pretty cheap, pretty
pretty comparable in price to these mainstays. I mean, if you're gonna buy measuring cups and measuring spoons, you might as well go cheap. There's no reason to buy expensive ones. There can be maybe a size discrepancy, but it's very little. Like almost every measuring cup and spoon like has like a slight discrepancy. They're not always exactly the same. This looks pretty handy. Makes a pot into like a strainer. That's something I might even pick up myself. It's not very expensive, very handy. Anything you can do to prevent yourself from burning yourself is always good. Like what is this? A little cheap bin down here. It's kind of mismatched. Got some ice cream scoops here for 97 cents. I mean, the cheaper they are, the easier they are to break. I broke an ice cream scoop the other day. The ice cream was rock hard. But yeah, slotted spoons, you can go cheap on that. It's all just kind of random stuff here. It's hard to tell if the items that you're even seeing or the items that are listed with the price. But yeah, these graduated cylinders and measuring cups, excellent. I would probably pick out like a large one and then maybe a small one, or even a medium one. As long as it has like half cups on there, you should be fine. And then I would use like a smaller measuring cup set for like quarter cups and things like that. Sink strainers, I use these at my house. I mean, it's not really food related, but it helps you get the food out of the sink when you drain it. Kitchen scales, KitchenAid looks pretty nice. I'm not sure what the price is on that. These Taylor ones here would probably be cheaper. I'm thinking they're cheaper. Yeah, I mean, kitchen scales are great. Depends on what you're weighing. That you would have to kind of research. That's more of a personal preference thing. Candy thermometers, digital thermometers. Looks like whatever the features are you're looking for, I'd probably go cheaper than that. I don't, even in a professional setting, I don't use something that fancy. It just needs to display what the temperature is. But they do have thermometers that you can put inside the meat and it'll tell you by Bluetooth when your meat's done. I don't know if they have that here. It doesn't look like it. But if you're gonna do meat, I would kind of stay away from one of these and I'd probably go towards one more of this style or a classic style. Timer, always need a timer, otherwise you'll burn your food. So you have these Faberware, or however you pronounce it. They look probably very comparable to the other brands we looked at. As far as this stuff goes, like if you're really pounding away on something, it might separate right here. I'm not sure. Magnetic clips, you're gonna wanna make sure these stick to your fridge if you get them. I've bought clips before that just fall off. They're not strong enough. These are pretty cool little grill set. It's not a basting spoon though. So that's mispriced. I don't know how much. Oh wait, here we are. It's down here, $14.97. I mean, if you don't have one, it's pretty nice. Pretty masculine looking. These things, these prep solutions, you got like the slap chop. These things work pretty good when they're brand new, but they fall apart very easily. Avocado slicer and masher. I've never seen that before. It looks like it might work though. It's not very sharp or anything. A lot of the avocados you buy nowadays are rock solid. Oh, these steamer baskets are really cool. I used to have one of these when I was a kid. They kind of like fold out. They're really cool to play with when you're a child. Veggie brush, that's good if you have like really dirty potatoes. And then you have the Pioneer Woman. Well, definitely looks very feminine, grandma style of thing going on here. But yeah, whatever floats your boat, you gotta cook in style, right? So now we have all these knives here. A lot of these are really cheap knives. I might buy something like this if I was just wanting to have a little paring knife, perhaps. These knives are gonna get dull super quickly. They're probably gonna rust easily, like these Ninja brands. I know Ninja is a popular brand. They're probably the more expensive out of these knives. I honestly haven't used any of these knives before, so I can't really say as to the quality of a particular brand or not. If you're gonna buy knives, I probably want to get them from Walmart unless you're spending very little, maybe buying like a paring knife or something like that, or some scissors. Definitely do your research if you're gonna buy knives. These knife sharpeners, they're all right for cheap knives, but I mean, this is the Pioneer Woman. This is $9.97. If your kitchen equipment's really low end and your knives, you could use this, sure. Your mileage may vary. You might buy these knives and they might work excellent for you. I've seen a lot of knives that are really shabby and these would be better than any of those. Now, as far as cutting boards go, I'll oftentimes buy my cutting boards at Walmart. Like you got these ones down here, $14.88. Sure, I'd buy that. These ones that are harder though, I'm not really into that. Like glass cutting boards, not into that. These white ones stain very easily. Wooden ones are nice. These little grooves in here will help any juices that you're cutting from running off and getting all over your countertops. This is a better idea for a knife sharpener to the one over there. It's just for like a quick honing, I'd say. This one will probably take metal off your knife. as a professional, I probably wouldn't use it, but for a low-end home cook, you might get away with it. Kitchen towels and washcloths, definitely very nice. You need oven mitts if you're gonna take something out of the oven, or a nearby handy towel will work. I like keeping a towel at hand at all times. Any of this stuff here would work. I'd probably get one of these Better Home and Garden ones down here, or something like this, these mainstays, but that's just down to personal preference. So you have all kinds of like casserole dishes and stuff like this. I mean, I like these Pyrex style ones, or not even specifically the Pyrex brand, but maybe even this one right here. They seem to be about the same price. I mean, I'll use really cheap casserole, Pyrex style dishes, even these metal ones over here. Like these muffin tins, the cheaper you go, the more like scratched up they get, and then sometimes the older they get, things will get stuck in there easily, so you need to spray it down really good. I mean, I would suggest spraying down anything that you'd put in one of these anyway. Half sheet trays though, very excellent. $11 for half sheet tray. Hell yeah. You even have these little mini ones, like these are all acceptable. Wire racks definitely come in handy to keep your things from sitting in juices and stuff like that. All of this stuff here, if you're gonna buy something like this, I mean, I would definitely probably get it here at Walmart. Works in a pinch, it gets the job done. You don't need to be spending a lot of money on these types of things. These also work in a pinch, like if you're gonna go bring food to like some family event or something like that, or even in a professional setting. I've used these before. They work out really good if you're gonna do catering and you don't want to have a lot of dishes afterwards, or you want to just leave the food there with your customer. They can just throw it away when they're done. Works very nice. Even stuff like this might work good for like a catering. You could do like charcuterie boards and stuff on something like this. That looks pretty nice. It's not very expensive. I mean, you could even probably get away with using one of these as a cutting board if you wanted. But these plates right here, I mean, I would use that. It looks pretty nice. It's pretty solid. It's only 12 bucks. Use that for a catering or some fancy dinner that you're gonna do at your house. Things like this for like your condiments, pretty nice. You got all kinds of cool stuff here that looks fairly decent. I mean, you're getting more expensive down here with the $22 compared to like these ones that are like $15. But you have like these multi-tier type things. I mean, it looks semi-professional and it's not very expensive. I'm not really going over the scope of like plateware and stuff in this video.
Well, that about covers it. I hope you found this video helpful. Stick around and watch part 2 where I go over pots and pans and kitchen appliances. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you very much.